Hi, second grade. Welcome back. This is video 2 for Wednesday, April 1st. And today we are going to start off in our language arts video with our handwriting book. And we are on page 113. 113. Okay. And on page 113, we are reviewing the cursive letter G. We're also reviewing the cursive letter S. Ooh, they look very similar. Remember, we talked about this. The G has the pointed hook, but the S is smooth. And then after S comes T. The words that we have today are God, Son, and Timothy from the Bible. So let's review and watch our cursive G and S and T. Colin, you should be working on page 83 on your cursive C's, which we went over yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. But if you need to go on YouTube and watch Letter School, cool, and watch the upper lowercase c, you are good to do that, my man. All right, page 113. Here we go, Letter School.
This is the letter G for glasses.
Remember, you don't lift. Little G.
This is the letter G for goat.
The trick to this, guys, is you start at the top, the dotted line, come around, follow my mouse, down like a regular G. It goes that way. It goes to your left. If you go to your right, it's a Q. So think you're printing a G and then just cross over. Georgia, they must have known this was your favorite, and it starts with the letter G, your name. Okay, let's move on to S.
This is the letter S for snake.
typing. Ooh, I love this one.
This is the letter S.
Now, they have you starting at the dotted line. Mrs. Writings wants you to do it how you see it in the book. Start at your bottom line and go up to the dotted. I will still let you watch it, but remember, we start at the bottom.
For slide.
You should start down here. Again, start down here at the bottom line. Yours would be at the bottom. Oh, I need the screen wheel. Now you'll get to move on to T. You can be working on your whole page while this is playing.
This is the letter T. For tiger.
Yes, you have to lift for T, then lift to cross. I think in our book it has you do the cross first and then the bottom. Choo-choo. And little t.
This is the letter T for top.
You'll start at the bottom line. Remember, start at your bottom. Start down here. So, boys and girls, you are going to work on finishing up that page 113. So you can pause the video. And I know you don't have to just sit and watch the letters. You could be working on it while you're watching. That's fine. But now pause and finish handwriting, and then get your spelling book ready. And we will begin spelling. So you'll just unpause me. I'm going to move right on into spelling. And today we're on page 164. 164. Okay. On page 164, it says, you can make compound words by putting two shorter words. So they have two puzzle pieces. They have fire and they have place. Put them together and you get a new compound word, fireplace. Practice matching the compound words. So we're going to be matching, they give us the first word, but we need to find a puzzle piece down here that will match it to make a compound word. Now, I'm not going to keep this up like this the whole time. I'm going to, you work in your book, but I'm going to type it so you can see as we go. Yes, you can try to do cursive. If you're having difficulty, then you can print. That is fine. All right, let me get it back up. All right, so page 164 in spelling. Number 1, they give us out, but now we need to find a word that matches it. I will give you a hint. The color of the puzzle pieces match as well. Out would go with side, outside. No space between them. And don't capitalize it. It's just the way my computer is acting. Number 2, pop is what they give us. What could go with pop? Corn. Good. 3, cook. What could go with the purple puzzle piece for cook? Book. Number 4, rain. What could go with rain to make a compound word? Bow. Very good. Rainbow. No space between when you're making a compound word. Number 5, Annie. 1. Number 6. I'm going to just go over here, make a second column so you can still see it. Number 6, wind. And what could make a compound word there? Mill. Good. Number 7, week. And we always look forward to this time of the week. End. Weekend. Good. Number 8, snow. Man. Ooh, I need to back up a little. There we go. Number 9, they give us star. And what could go with star? Lives in the ocean. Fish, starfish. And the last one, number 10, they give us foot. And then Duncan loves to play this sport. Ball, football. All right, boys and girls, if you need more time, you can pause the video on this screen. The proofreading And the practice test we will do on Friday. Okay, so just this page for today. When you're done with spelling, so practice test and proofreading on Friday. When you're done with spelling, we're going to get out our last book for the language arts video, which is our Storytown book. Okay, so if you need to pause to get that book ready, and we're going to be on page 166 and 167. Today is our story, A Chair for My Mother. And we're just going to listen to this story today. Mrs. Writings always lets you listen to the story the first time. If you want to read out loud with me, that would be fine. But I will let you listen to the story, and then maybe what I will have you do is read it out loud to someone at home. Okay? Maybe you can do that. Let me get it up. All right. I think I can still find the audio that you can hear it how we would normally listen to it on CD for the first time. So let me try. Might be able to work. The genre, while I'm finding the page, if you look on 166, what's the genre? Realistic fiction. Realistic fiction is a story that could really happen. So did this story truly happen? No, but it could. It definitely could happen, and we'll talk about that at the end. It has people in it doing things that real people do, and they're acting as people would really act, and there's a real problem and solution that could happen in real life. Now, the people in this story are not true, they're made up, but it does seem real. So it's realistic, make-believe, fiction. All right, here we are, friends. A Chair for My Mother by Vera B. Williams.
My mother works as a waitress in the Blue Tile Diner. After school, sometimes I go to meet her there. Then her boss, Josephine, gives me a job too. I wash the salts and peppers and fill the ketchups. One time, I peeled all the onions for the onion soup. When I finish, Josephine says, "Good work, honey," and pays me. And every time I put half of my money into the jar. It takes a long time to fill a jar this big. Every day when my mother comes home from work, I take down the jar. My mama empties all her change from tips out of her purse for me to count. Then we push all of the coins into the jar.
Turn the page. Now we are on page 170 and 171.
Sometimes my mama is laughing when she comes home from work. Sometimes she's so tired she falls asleep while I count the money out into piles. Some days she has lots of tips. Some days she has only a little. Then she looks worried. But each evening, every single shiny coin goes into the jar. We sit in the kitchen to count the tips. Usually Grandma sits with us too. While we count, she likes to hum. Often, she has money in her old leather wallet for us. Whenever she gets a good bargain on tomatoes or bananas or something she buys, she puts by the savings and they go into the jar.
Bargain is one of our high frequency words. It means a good deal on something. So if you see buy one, get one free, it's a bargain.
When we can't get a single other coin into the jar, we are going to take out all the money and go and buy a chair. Yes, a chair. A wonderful, beautiful, fat, soft armchair. We will get one covered in velvet with roses all over it. We are going to get the best chair in the whole world. That is because our old chairs burned up. There was a big fire in our other house. All our chairs burned. So did our sofa, and so did everything else. That wasn't such a long time ago.
Turning 174 and 175.
My mother and I were coming home from buying new shoes. I had new sandals. She had new pumps. We were walking to our house from the bus. We were looking at everyone's tulips. She was saying she liked red tulips, and I was saying I liked yellow ones. Then we came to our block.
So this is a flashback. This is what happened to her first house. We're learning about what happened to all her chairs. And on the page before, it said there was a fire. Okay.
Right outside our house stood two big fire engines. I could see lots of smoke. Tall orange flames came out of the roof. All the neighbors stood in a bunch across the street. Mama grabbed my hand and we ran. My Uncle Sandy saw us and ran to us. Mama yelled, "Where's Mother?" I yelled, "Where's my grandma?" My Aunt Ida waved and shouted, "She's here, she's here, she's okay. Don't worry, Grandma was all right." Our cat was safe too, though it took a while to find her. But everything else in our whole house was spoiled.
Spoiled was one of our words. So when something is ruined. Okay.
What was left of the house was turned to charcoal and ashes. We went to stay with my mother's sister, Aunt Ida, and Uncle Sandy. Then we were able to move into the apartment downstairs. We painted the walls yellow. The floors were all shiny, but the rooms were very empty.
So they didn't have anything to put in their new home. Page 180 and 181. This looks like a happy picture, huh?
The first day we moved in, the neighbors brought pizza and cake and ice cream, and they brought a lot of other things too. The family across the street brought a table and 3 kitchen chairs. The very old man next door gave us a bed from when his children were little. My other grandpa brought us his beautiful rug. My mother's other sister, Sally, had made us red and white curtains. Mama's boss, Josephine, brought pots and pans, silverware, and dishes. My cousin brought me her own stuffed bear. Everyone clapped when my grandma made a speech. "You are all the kindest people," she said, "and we thank you very, very much. It's lucky we're young and can start all over."
Okay, so the neighbors were kind and helpful, kind of like a lot during what we're going through now. A lot of us are at home and we might feel frustrated that we're at home, but at least we can video chat. And I know that a lot of people are trying to do kind things. They're trying to make sure that they talk to people more often, they call each other more often. A lot of things on TV are showing they're doing live concerts on the Fox channel. Just special things everyone's trying to do while keeping in their homes and being healthy. So the people in this story were helping out them and helping bring furniture to them. Ooh, what coin is on this page? Page 182. What is that coin? It's little and thin. I remember your worth. 10. It's a dime. Good. All right.
That was last year, but we still have no sofa and no big chairs. When Mama comes home, her feet hurt. There's no good place for me to take a load off my feet, she says. When Grandma wants to sit back and hum and cut up potatoes, she has to get as comfortable as she can on a hard kitchen chair. So that is how come Mama brought home the biggest jar she could find at the diner. And all the coins started to go into the jar. Now the jar is too heavy for me to lift down. Uncle Sandy gave me a quarter. He had to boost me up so I could put it in. After supper, Mama and Grandma and I stood in front of the jar. Well, I never would have believed it, but I guess it's full, Mama said.
There's 2 more of our high frequency words this week. On page 182, it has comfortable. So when something is soft and cozy. And boost on page 183, it says, Uncle Sandy gave me a quarter. He had to boost me up so I could put it in. Just like when you go to a restaurant and little kids need a booster seat, something to lift them up. Okay? So the jar's full. What do you predict? I predict they're going to get their chair.
My mother brought home little paper wrappers for the nickels and the dimes and the quarters. I counted them all out and wrapped them all up. On my Mother's Day off, we took all the coins to the bank. The bank exchanged them for $10 bills. Then we took the bus downtown to shop for our chair. We shopped through 4 furniture stores. We tried out big chairs and smaller ones, high chairs and low chairs, soft chairs and harder ones. Grandma said she felt like Goldilocks in the 3 Bears trying out all the chairs. Finally, we found the chair we were all dreaming of, and the money in the jar was enough to pay for it. We called Aunt Ida and Uncle Sandy. They came right down in their pickup truck to drive the chair home for us. They knew we couldn't wait for it to be delivered. I tried out our chair in the back of the truck. Mama wouldn't let me sit there while we drove, but they let me sit in it while they carried it up to the door.
That sounds like fun, doesn't it? There's our word delivered. When something gets delivered to your house, it's brought to you. Page 188 and 189.
We set the chair right beside the window with the red and white curtains. Grandma and Mama and I all sat in it while Aunt Ida took our picture. Now Grandma sits in it and talks with people going by in the daytime. Mama sits down and watches the news on TV when she comes home from her job. After supper, I sit with her, and she can reach right up and turn out the light if I fall asleep in her lap.
Nice ending. So if we think about plot here, guys, what was the problem in this story? What was the problem? So their chair and all their furniture burned in a fire, and now they need a new chair because Mama only has hard kitchen chairs to sit on, right? Good. 2, where do the family members go? Or I'm sorry, where do the family members get the money that goes into the jar? If you remember and you look back into the story, Mama would put all of her tip money in the jar. And I know when the girl in this story would get money, like from her Uncle Sandy, she would throw it in the jar too, right? So they were saving, kind of like a big piggy bank. 3, why do you think the family members try out so many chairs before they decide on one? Think, when you go to a toy store to pick out a birthday toy, do you just go right in and pick the first one you see? No, you look to find the one that's just right. Number 4, how might the ending have been different if the characters had gone shopping for a chair after filling only a small jar with coins? So how would that have worked out if they only filled a small jar up versus that giant jar? Think, the bigger the jar, the more the money. More money means they can afford something that's worth more valuable. So if they have a small jar, they might not have enough to buy a big comfy chair. Maybe they could just buy a folding chair or another wooden chair. But it also depends on what kind of coins you put in too, right? They put all different coins, pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters into the big jar. Maybe if you had a little jar, but you put quarters in, no other coins, you might have a good bit of money. So remember, it's not always the size. And the last one, even though it says right, we'll just talk. What lesson do you think the girl learned by saving money for so long? What do you think we learn when we wait a long time for something we want? We learn patience, and we learn how to work and earn what we have. And that's a very important lesson in this story. Now, I know I said we talk about realistic fiction. So the girl and the mom and the grandma, they were made up characters, but could this happen? Could a family have a fire and then lose furniture and then save up to buy a new one? Sure, could. That's why it's realistic fiction. It's real, but it has made up characters. The very last thing today, and I am not going to do it with you, I'm just going to review the page with you, and then you're going to work on it before you go to the next video. So practice book Super Kitty, if you need to pause to get it out. And we're going to be on page 166, and I have that up. So page 166 in your Super Kitty book. This has to do with all those high frequency words we saw in the story. So read and answer the question. Marie exchanged the shirt her uncle gave her for one that was smaller. How did she feel about her uncle's gift? So if she had to exchange the shirt for one that was smaller, how do you think she felt about it? She probably felt it was too big because she wanted to exchange, which means switch, for a smaller shirt. So how'd she feel? She probably felt it was too big. You are going to work on number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The high frequency words, number 2 is spoiled, number 3 is bargain, number 4 is boost, number 5, comfortable, and number 6 is delivered. Now don't write, I don't want to see you just write what those words mean, what bargain means. You have to read the sentence and then answer the question it's asking about that sentence. Okay? I want you to work on that, and then on Friday, when we're working back in our storybooks, I will go over the answers for this page. So you need to make sure you finish all the way up to number 6. You are not doing the back, just page 166, okay? All right, I'll see you back here then for video number 3 for religion. You do not need for religion your We Believe book. I found out a lot of you, we left that one in the classroom. Instead, I had you grab your Eucharist book. Okay, that bluish purple one, your Eucharist workbook. That's what you'll need next, okay? Bye.